Hello everyone, it's Jessica Michaels here with another layout for the Therm web design team. Today I'm actually going to be using some newer products in the shop, and I'm going to be making a little spread for my December daily album, which is a 6x8 album. So I'm starting this off using some pixie tape for a stencil here, which I'm going to grab some Distress Oxide inks and just blend some of this ink color onto this stencil. I wanted to make like a little tree scene in the background because I'm actually scrapbooking some photos from when we picked out our Christmas tree at the tree farm. So I want to create a nice little scene in the background. Baby girl's probably going to pop into this video from time to time. Yep, there's her stealing my stamp as usual. She's usually here helping me, so that's pretty typical. And I've got these little stamps here that I've been using for my daily numbers on all of my pages. They're the Paint by Number stamps by Tim Holtz. So I'm going to continue that throughout this layout as well. And I'm doing a little bit of ink blending on the toner card fronts. These are the Holiday Rush card fronts, which has this beautiful little star design on them. And I just thought these would be perfect to do some ink blending on with a couple different colors here. I have Bundled Sage and Rustic Wilderness, I think it's called, and I'm using just a couple of my blending brushes to blend on those two colors. And you do want to make sure you wipe these off with a soft cloth, or I just use a tissue on mine. Typically you want to use something lint free. I don't really have anything within reach here that's lint free, so I just grabbed a tissue real quick. But you want to wipe off any ink that's on those toner sheets before you apply the foil on top like this and run it through your hot laminating machine. My laminator that I'm using today is the Fuse System by Gina K, and I am just running that through using one of our smaller, newer sized craft and carrier sheets. They're the smaller size, so they fit really nicely into that 6-inch opening on the Fuse laminator. Now, I cut apart some of these little sentiments. These are from the Merry Moments sentiment sheets, and they are also toner reactive to foil. So I cut one of them off to use as a sentiment on my page, and I did some ink blending with black and then applied my foil here on top, but I ended up not using that one. I'm actually going to make another one that's a lighter shade, because with it being black and using this kind of gold, it's actually called Sparkling Cider transfer foils by Deco Foil. That color foil didn't show up super well on the black, so I ended up using the rest of this toner sheet. So it's already actually been ran through once, but I still have some extra, and you can totally do that. You can always use up your extras here and use the negative pieces as well on different designs. I'm going to show you how I ran through my newer design, the other toner piece here in a second, that I colored in pink instead of the black. And then here's where I created my number. You can see I have my number 3 already made for the day. It was the 3rd of December for this particular layout. I did that before I started this video just to make sure it would work, and I'm just showing you how I did that here. So I used my stamp by with some Versamark ink, and I stamped that first, and I heat embossed by layering that embossing powder on it and then heating it up with my heat gun and then applying the foil. So I know it's a little bit of a process, but it actually worked out really well. That foil was able to stick perfectly fine to where I heat embossed. It created a nice surface, kind of like that Deco Foil Duo Gel would when you do stenciling and foiling. It was kind of like the same effect, only I did it with that Versamark ink and embossing powder. So I found that really interesting to know that you can actually use your stamps to use this foil to transfer just with some Versamark ink and some embossing powder. Typically, you probably want to use clear embossing powder to do this. I just use white because that's what I had on hand, but I wasn't too worried about it because my paper was white and I knew I was going to put that beautiful gold foil over top like you see here. So this is my toner sheet that came out of my laminator in that Sparkling Cider, and it's already inked up and I have my foil on there. So now I'm just running it through my Big Shot machine with some little Christmas tree dies to cut them out and place onto my layout. I wanted them just layered, and I wanted them kind of layered and enhanced by that ink blended background with that pine tree stencil that I used at the beginning of the video, and it's all coming together quite nicely now. I have my 2 photos layered on top of each other there, as you can see, kind of like a film strip, just matted by some white cardstock. And then I'm just choosing a chipboard title from 49 and Market from their Evergreen Seasons collection to place on here as well. Now here's the second little title or subtitle piece that I used from the Merry Moments sentiments that I foiled here. And I just wanted to show you, I kind of did this one a little bit backwards. Usually I do my ink blending first, but on this one I actually foiled it because I was going to keep it white, but then I wanted to color it in. So I'm showing you here that you can totally do that. You can foil it first and then do your ink blending after, and then you can just wipe it off of your foil. So it worked out perfectly well, and I really love how that looks. I just use a nice light pink shade on that, just to bring in a little pop of pink to go with that sparkling cider foil that's kind of got a pink tone to it. So I'm just going to place that at the bottom of my layout using my Memory XL tape runner. That one I just love because it's super easy to refill, and the refills for it are pretty cheap. So you can really stock up on those refills without spending a ton of money, which I love. So I'm just grabbing some papers here from Crate Paper, and I'm just going to layer up my photo here just with another pattern paper behind it, and just roughing up the edges just to give that a little pop of color and pull in some more green to go with the rest of the greens in my layout here. And then I have used another die from my stash here by Hey Little Magpie to cut this little border strip to go alongside of my photo, and then just trimming off the excess there. So I've got that ready to go. I am trimming off this little bit here. This is actually a Bramble Fox paper snip. It comes just full of little wordy bits and fun things to cut out. So I'm just going to throw one of these on here as well. I really liked this one. I'm going to pop it down on the top of my photo here, just using some of my adhesive. And then we'll see what else I can get into here and add. I kind of went a little bit crazy with this one, but I was honestly trying to keep it a simple design, but it didn't end up so simple in the long run. So I've got my easy tear tape that I'm using to adhere my photo. I know that that's not going anywhere. That easy tear tape is super, super sticky. It's a very strong adhesive. It will rip your paper if you try to rip it off of there or take it off of there and reposition it. It'll rip your paper. So you just have to be careful and make sure it's exactly where you want that to go. But I love it because it's, like the name says, it's easy tear. So you just kind of place it on there and rip off the excess, and then just pull the backing off, and it's good to go. And I know it's not going to go anywhere in this album. It's going to be there for life. So I'm just layering a few more things and positioning all of my little trees here at the bottom. Just sticking everything down with my tape runner real quick here. I'm not going to add any liquid glue to those per se, because I know that they're going to stick all right with that tape runner. I don't have to worry about those going anywhere. I'm actually going to be putting this in a page protector as well too, so I know that's going to help hold in all of these. But I'm grabbing some of this Ultra Bond liquid glue. I like to use this for my smaller things like this and title bits to adhere those down. I know that that Ultra Bond liquid glue dries super clear, so I don't have to worry about making a mess or any of that peeking out. Just trimming off the excess of my trees here. It's just about done. I think there's one more thing that I ended up adding because I just feel like it needed one more little thing. So I grabbed a Flair, an epoxy, no, these are the canvas flares, I'm sorry, from Scrappin Happy Studio, and I'm just going to add one of these on here because it just looks super cute with him carrying that little Christmas tree, and I just thought he was adorable and too cute to not put on here. So I'm doing my normal thing, which is my glue dot sandwich here to twiddle some thread in behind it for some extra texture. So here it is. Here's the finished little spread. I love how this one came out. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this process today. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to leave them in the comments below and I will do my best to answer. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.